welcome in, beautiful souls. I'm gonna give it a couple minutes just to see if we can get a few people to join. My name is Amber. I'm the Pathless Woods 333. Be sure to include the 333 because YouTube has created a whole gaming channel that now has the same name as me, so my content is being shadowed. So I'm doing this first ever live in hopes of pushing my content, hopefully connecting with some like-minded souls. You might even find your soul tribe here because it's bigger than me. My mission is to share my divine messages and hopefully to raise the consciousness and elevate your consciousness for the collective, okay? So today is a bit impromptu. We're gonna be talking about a little bit of everything. I actually do tarot on one of my monetized YouTube channels, so I will be pulling a crowning message today as well. And you get to have coffee with me. All right. So, if any of my other, because I'm going to share this to my page publicly once it uploads after this live, if any of my other fellow chosen ones are experiencing this ban where you notice when you share content that's pretty ABC, 1, 2, 3, it gets thousands of views, but when you share something that's very informative, spiritually elevating, and the YouTube algorithm just simply does not push it. If you're experiencing that, comment 333. And because I do tarot on my other channel, I've never done any tarot on this one, but I'm really being called just for the collective to see what the crowning energy is for everyone. And then we are going to have a little bit of sound meditation, because for those of you who don't know me, please do check out my community posts. I've been sharing more of who I am outside of my YouTube, and I'm a certified pregnancy and vinyasa yoga instructor. I work with professional athletes, collegiate athletes, all the way down to absolute beginners. And it's all about feeling good in your body. It's about injury prevention, mobility, flexibility, and building functional strength. I know everything today is about how we appear, but it's so much more about how good you feel on the inside. Because when you feel good about you on the inside, it radiates out into everyone else. If that message resonates with you, leave a heart, drop a 333. Let this YouTube algorithm know that the Pathless Woods 333 has good content, okay? Have them lift this shadow ban. I know people think it doesn't exist, but it certainly does. So let's go ahead. Oh my goodness, there is a card in here from a whole nother deck. Message, 5 of Swords. 5 of Swords. That's the energy, dissatisfaction, incoming communication or communication from the past that's unwarranted or just not what you deserve. So in 2024 and beyond, we're manifesting and attracting only what we deserve. Let's see. Thank you, Sunny. I appreciate the support. I truly do appreciate the support. So I'm sharing this tarot, a little bit of tarot, and then we're going to dive into some messages, some dream downloads. I went ahead and put up the title, End of the World Predictions, Dreams and Divine Downloads, but this is so impromptu. I'm going to let my spirit and the audience lead this. And once it uploads publicly, I will change the title to fit what the takeaway message is. Let's see, what's crowning the energy? At the bottom of the deck, take that. Please do check out the description box if you're ever interested in donating to support this channel. Never required, but always appreciated. And you can find my email if you're interested in a private tarot reading. Serious inquiries only, please. I get those uploaded, recorded and uploaded for you with a private link that you can watch endlessly once you pay for it, and it gets to you within 72 hours maximum. So let's see. Spirit's ready to talk to you. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. What do you have for my beautiful viewers? What's the energy in the room today? If you're here, drop a 333 in the comments. Help to show this to more people. All right, we have empathetic starseed, energetic sovereignty, and absorbing what is not yours. Many of you who are chosen ones, who are on this spiritual path, a lot of us tend to shy away from sharing ourselves. If you noticed, even on this page, I tend to try to share a lot of shorts without my face in them because spiritual warfare is real. And when you're an empath and you're a starseed and you're chosen, and this is one of the topics I wanted to dive into today, you may notice that you constantly feel under spiritual attack. And it may come from the wildest places or from people who you'd expect it from least. Family, friends, co-workers, lifelong partners, okay? Your boyfriend, your husband, your girlfriend, your wife. And you may start to question your own sanity. What is it about my light that irritates their darkness? Because while I'm not perfect and no one is, you don't wish ill on other people. You only wish the best for them because you know karmically that's going to come back to you. And yet, when you encounter strangers or people you know, you feel that jealous, envious spirit. You notice when you pass by people on the street, they'll stare at you deep into your soul, but when you smile at them, there's no reciprocity. They have nothing to give back. And so Spirit is coming through clear here with this empathetic starseed, absorbing what's not yours. So you need to be fully autonomous. Don't allow your energy to leak to others. If you walk into a room and you feel that it is of a lower vibration, I wish truthfully that all of you here in this room could walk into a room and see the physical vibration change, because that's how powerful you all are, especially if you're here in this chat today, because no such thing as coincidence. As I said, it's bigger than me. It's about you who are tuning in. When you walk into a room, people can feel your energy. And those who are vibrating higher or on that same level as you, they're not threatened. They may feel inspired by you. They may be inclined to give you a compliment. And sometimes it can be self-sabotaging compliments in which they say, oh, I wish I could. And you want to shake them and tell them you can. But you take it with a grain of salt, because the fact that they could even give you a compliment speaks so highly of their vibration. When there's other people who will go out of their way to ignore that you're even there in the room. They will, if you have a partner or a friend with you, go out of their way to speak to the person who you came with, but make sure not to make eye contact with you for too long or speak to you. It's as though they feel like, if I don't give this person any energy, then, maybe that will knock them down a peg. So they go out of their way to try to bring you down to their level. And please remember this, when you're making new acquaintances, friends, when you go into a job, remember, when someone's interviewing you, you're interviewing them as well. This is where you're going to spend most of your waking hours, and you're trading your time, your most valuable asset, for money, a currency, but your energy is a currency. So when you sit down in that interview, remember, shoulders relaxed, chin up, and remember that you're interviewing them as well. Your energetic currency, it's gold. It is off the charts. It's beyond a diamond. You are a rare gem. And remember, anything in life that becomes a diamond has to experience this immense pressure, and you're making it through to the other side. But be mindful of absorbing this energy that's not yours. remove yourself from situations that aren't serving your greatest and highest good. Always easier said than done, especially when it comes to the relationships that have been in your life for a long time, but know your worth. 2024 and beyond, we can't hang out with energy vampires. No more. Leave it in the comments. No more energy vampires. I've been seeing the vampires in New Orleans trending lately, and one thing I loved about that topic is we're taught that vampires, they bite you in your neck and they suck your blood, and that's how they get their energy. But then they mention that there are 3 other types of vampires. The other is those who feed off of sexual energy. And then there's also those who feed off of bad, negative energy. And then there's the good kind who feed off of your good, pure, positive energy. No vampires are created alike, from what I'm learning. Take that as you wish. This is for entertainment purposes only. Next we had, and this card flew out, might I add, Earth School. Life lessons, soul growth, study, and higher learning. Some of you have recently applied to a school, or you've been accepted and you're going to be starting school in the fall. Thank you, Sunny. Thank you, Winter. Happy to have you here. You're going to be starting school in the fall or starting some new project. And I'm getting that this is something you were really passionate about as a child. And maybe as you became an adult and life began lifing, bills and responsibilities, maybe children, you let that passion not fully burn out, but you pushed it to the wayside. And this passion, it's been reignited. I don't know if your ancestors are blowing the wind, stoking that fire, but you feel this burning desire in your belly. And if you don't know what that thing is yet, you know the feeling. You know that feeling is just, it's eating away at you, but in the best way. It's lighting a fire in your belly, lighting a fire underneath that behind, and telling you, you need to revisit this. And if you're not sure what this is, I do encourage you to begin journaling, meditate at least 5 minutes a day. And don't beat yourself up if your mind wanders. Let your thoughts pass by like clouds, and then bring your attention back into your body, into your breath. And once again, I'm a yoga teacher. If you're interested in a one-on-one yoga session or meditation, check the description of this live, because I made a special discount code just for my subscribers, and it's good through this Saturday for 25% off. Meditation is a game changer. I do it for free. I do it for myself, and I do it for those around me, because when you vibrate higher, that affects and touches everyone in the lives around you. But this thing, whatever this passion is, it's going to require you to study yourself. It's going to require you to tap into that childlike energy that you may have left behind in the past. And for many of you, it's like diving deep into your emotions. There may have been someone in particular who pulled the rug out from underneath you when it came to this dream, and it may have left a bad taste in your mouth. So for some of you, subliminals, hypnosis, these can help to release those old emotions and bring back up to the surface what it was that you left in the past. And your ancestors, the universe, God is speaking to you without a doubt. They want you to go back to learning this thing. Go back to investing your time. And this is going to be the 2 words attached here: life lessons and soul growth. Whatever this thing is, it's going to allow you to grow. And I love this because there's been something that's been reignited within my own spirit. And as I've been doing this thing for the past couple months now, I can just feel my energy growing lighter. I feel my spirit growing brighter. And that doesn't come without its negative aspects, because when you shine bright, inevitably some people go underneath trees to catch some shade when it's really bright outside. When you shine bright, you're inevitably going to cast shadows. And some people are just going to need shades. They can't take all of that light, and that's okay. When I say that you're chosen, and I need to be very clear about this, when I say that you are chosen, I don't mean that you or I are more special than the next person. It's just that we have elevated to a certain level of consciousness on this journey. We're aware of who we are, and we're remembering our mission and why we came here. For some of us, this Earth school, this prison planet that some of us may refer to it, while albeit beautiful, it is very limiting on our frequency, okay? Because we're constantly being bombarded with the media and phones and low vibrational news. It's just, it can be very hard to stay at that vibration. I'm being called to take one more card here. One more card for the collective, and then we're gonna move into a bit of sound healing. Feel free, if you're watching this later and not live, even if you're watching it live, grab yourself, pull up a chair, grab yourself a pillow, make yourself really comfortable. Maybe you light a candle or some incense like I did, and just set your intention, set the ambiance for what it is that you're wishing to manifest. As I play this 432 hertz frequency, note F, allow those frequencies to resonate within your spirit, okay? But one last message before we go into the sound. Maybe I worked at a casino in my past life. All right. Let's take two more. One from the top, one from the bottom. All right. Star Keeper. You're getting a lot of that star seed and star keeper. Wow, here it is. Cosmic Ancestor. Seed the light by staying grounded. Which is funny because your other two cards are you diving deep into these watery emotions, flying. So grounding your energy through meditation would be an absolutely wonderful way to do so. But it's reading Cosmic Ancestor, seed the light by staying grounded. Many of you come from the planet Sirius. If you know, you know. And this passion is being reignited. This door is opening. And look, it's the door to the heart. And it's going to allow you to raise you see this crown chakra emanating this beautiful, luminescent, bright white light. There are codes within you that are unlocking. I don't know if it's due to the solar eclipse or if you've been spending more time in nature, grounding your feet in the grass, walking barefoot, you know, where it's clean to do so. But your ancestors, your cosmic ancestors, not just your fleshly, worldly ancestors that you know, but the ones you don't know from other planets. They're blowing and stoking that fire of passion within you. And this door is wide open. And this door is going to, this opportunity, this door, this passion, it's going to fulfill you on a level I don't think you've ever experienced before in this lifetime. It's going to fill your heart, fill your cup, and you're going to overflow and be able to pour into the people around you. Next, we have trust the timing. Trust the wave you came in on. Time is not running out. Time is not running out. Trust the wave you came in on. What a beautiful, beautiful message. And I love that it shows three people here. One's in the distance, and it's basically you on this timeline. It's showing that while it's taking time, look at the progress. And we can get really caught up, especially with social media, on just where we're not at yet, what the next person has. It's like keeping up with the Joneses on steroids now with social media, because everyone's showing the best sides of their life. It can make you feel as though if you don't have those things, or if you don't have them by a certain age, well then you're not successful. But all in divine timing, you are on your own path, or you're forging your own path, like the pathless woods. And trust the timing. I cannot say that enough. but I do see beautiful, beautiful energy coming in for you after leaving this dissatisfaction energy of the Five of Swords. I do feel as though someone here in this reading today has a 5-year-old, or they're leaving a 5-year relationship. I'm also getting Havana or lava. I don't know if someone has a lava lamp. So strange. I've never had that come up. And I just haven't seen a lava lamp in a while. So if you have it, let me know in the comments, okay? Now let's go ahead. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. And we're going to get a little bit of sound, okay? I do like to put water in my singing bowl and then play it, allow the water to absorb those frequencies, and then I drink it after. I won't do that on camera, I'll save you that time, but I am going to play this. Water also helps to amplify the vibration, just like it helps to amplify the currency. And this is specifically 432 hertz, note F. So this is, some people will say for the heart chakra, others will say for healing the body. Just if you're familiar with the 7 chakras from your root up to your crown, I invite you to close your eyes now and maybe turn the volume down until you see how loud it's going to be. But I want you to tune into where this 432 hertz frequency is resonating within your body. If, in fact, it may even resonate within one of your chakras, okay? So go ahead and close your eyes. Get yourself nice and comfortable. Take a deep inhale in through your nose. Filling the belly, holding at the top, and then sighing it out. Do remember your body is 70%, roughly 70% water. You came from the water in your mother's womb, and the earth itself is mostly water. So allow these frequencies to wash over and cleanse your energy, if nothing else. If you're still here, taking another deep inhale in through your nose, filling the belly like a balloon. Taking another sip of air if you can, and sigh it out heavy. Beautiful. I love sharing my passions with you all, and on this channel I tend to like to talk about conspiracy or what's considered conspiracy. I also like to give warnings. I feel as though I receive divine downloads and messages not only through my dreams but through my antennas. from my cosmic ancestors and from my worldly fleshly ancestors. And one of the hard things is deciphering when and where to share these messages. Some of them take a while, and I'm going to share with you today a message that I finally feel comfortable enough to share. I feel as though things are really coming to this crescendo and this peak, and as the title said, end of the world predictions. Now, I want to preface this by saying I'm not here to fear monger. I am not here to create chaos, but instead to hopefully allow people to heed the warnings that I've been receiving personally, because it would be selfish of me just to keep these things to myself. Whether or not it resonates with you, that's up to you, okay? Now, this dream that I'm going to share with you is one of many. I tend to have a lot of dreams and premonitions, and then they unfold within the weeks or days to come. Some things take years. Now, this dream particularly was an end of the world dream. And I hesitate to even call it a dream because it felt as though I was having an out-of-body experience, or as though I was catapulted to another realm in which I took my fleshly, earthly body with me. Because in this dream, I could feel my physical 3D body, unlike I've ever felt in a dream before. This dream began, and what makes it even more weird is if you've watched Leave the World Behind on Netflix, a few pieces of my dream appear, a few symbols from my dream appear in that movie. Luckily for me, I keep receipts. I write my predictions down. I screenshot them. I have them, date, time stamped, so people know that I'm not just, chasing clout. But this dream in particular begins, and it's very personal to me. So let me get to the point, okay? It begins with my mom and I and her partner. We're driving to what would be my brother's baseball game. And we're driving down this dirt road to get to this baseball field, and a few deer kind of dart out, and I remember that just being a very vivid beginning of the dream. Well, my mom's partner disappears from the dream, but we are now at the baseball game. It's my brother's baseball game. And I remember a woman randomly saying something, and not all of this is going to make sense. A lot of it doesn't make sense to me, but I don't want to leave out any detail that seems minuscule, because in the grand scheme or the long run, it may be the most pertinent part of information. So it begins lightning outside, and if you've played baseball, you know when lightning comes out, you wrap up the game. So it begins to lightning, and there's no thunder, there's no storm yet, but I do remember one of the parents, one of the mothers of one of the kids playing baseball saying, "You really shouldn't smoke Mary Jane when it's lightning, it's dangerous." Now, mind you, no one's actually doing that, she just simply said it. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but it was a pertinent part of the dream that if you remember your dreams when you wake up, it wasn't a dream, it was a message. So, to continue on, as it does begin to storm, my mother and I, we all run into the shelter, which comes across as like a very outdated, almost 70s style cabin that you would stay at when you go to summer camp. And now it's just my mom and I. And we're laying next to each other on our backs. She's on my right, I'm to her left. And we're laying on our backs, and we begin to feel as though something isn't right. And we look at our phones. She's trying to call my grandfather. I'm trying to call my sister and my partner. There's no cell service. I remember leaving the cabin, going outside and looking up into the sky and seeing an airplane with an advertisement on the back of it. And I remember thinking, even in the end of the world, there's still marketing. I went back into the cabin, laid back in the bed, because at this point I start to feel energy draining from my body. And my mom and I, something just fell behind me. I don't know if this AirPod's gonna pick up on that noise, but No such thing as coincidence. So my mom and I are laying on this bed. Energy is beginning to leave our bodies, and we can physically see it. It is this dark matter. And as we lay on our backs, it feels as though this is the closest thing I've ever experienced to death in a physical form, not in a dream. This felt real. I felt as though life was leaving my body, and I could see it. And in this moment, we know that we're dying. And at this point, we go into the public restroom. So much how like dorm rooms would be set up, there's a bunch of stalls and there's mirrors. And I remember looking in my mom's eyes and seeing them turning completely green. And I asked her, are my eyes green? And she said yes. And at this point, we're so weak because the life is leaving our bodies that we're holding on to each other for support. And because I didn't believe her about my eyes, I actually in my dream walk over to a sink and a mirror and look at myself with my glowing green eyes. And I remember feeling this immense sadness. One, that I was losing my mother. Two, that I was most likely dying. And three, the off chance that I don't die, and that when I leave this cabin, I may walk for a year or more until I run into another living soul. While it was not said to me specifically, it was downloaded into my consciousness that there were only 1,401 people left on the planet Earth. I remember leaning into my mother and whispering in her ear, I told you so, which, what a terrible thing to say as we're dying, but it goes to show that I had been having these premonitions and that I've been trying to warn the people closest to me. And like I said, I dreamt this in January of 2022, so it took me almost 2.5 years to even feel comfortable to share this with you all. And at this point, as I lean into my mother and I whisper to her, I told you so, when I pull away from her, she then becomes this beautiful, dark-skinned Black woman who is probably 80 plus years old with 2 pigtails. And I have no idea who that woman is, potentially one of my ancestors I've never met. And then I woke up. Now that dream is a little bit all over the place, but the takeaways from that were self-service being out, planes advertising or sharing something at the end of the world, lightning, deer, green eyes. I don't know if it was as though we were going through a transformation. So the question is, were we physically unaliving? Were we physically being unalived, or were we, the version of us that we knew, was that ending, and were we transmuting and transforming to something else? Which then makes me question what we've been putting into our bodies and being very fully autonomous with your body, being very mindful. And that's hard to do in this day and age, because even if you're eating right and you're drinking spring water and you're drinking from glass and eating from glass and not plastic, you're still breathing the air, you're still bathing in the water from the city, and there's just a million ways to get got, right? And once again, I don't say this to fear monger, I just say it to hopefully elevate and raise the consciousness. I'm also sharing this dream in hopes that maybe someone else who's gonna watch this, maybe they're not in the live now, but they might simply come across this video in divine timing and let me know that they've had a similar dream. If you've had an end of the world dream, please share it with me, okay? My email's in the description box. Feel free to share your dream there. Please also, if you feel comfortable, do comment under this, because the chosen ones, us spiritual starseeds, we are under attack. I made a video two plus years ago about spiritual warfare, and it hits the same today that it did then. I need you, I am urging you, if you're watching this video, to go to the description and check out my playlist titled Truth Hidden in Plain Sight. I share some of my best content on that playlist, and YouTube continues to shadow and hide that content. If I share 3 things I wish I knew before 30. That video gets 6K views and pushed by the algorithm, even if the click-through rate is low. And if you're an analytics nerd, you know what I'm talking about. But I've recently been sharing how Airbnb updated their disruptive events policy, and that went into effect as of June 6th of this year. They sent it out in April. That video got absolutely no push despite it having a high click-through rate. I've shared the 2 suns that I literally just witnessed on my trip home from New York back in May of this year, but I just shared it a couple weeks ago, and it shows at least 2 suns. My mom says she saw 3. Go and judge it for yourself. I have multiple. I also have a video where one seems to be hidden behind the clouds here in Los Angeles. And the more I share these things, when I share contrails or chemtrails, I'm sure AI is hearing all these trigger words and limiting my reach, but it's not going to stop me from sharing my truth, because even if it reaches 5 people who need to hear this, or who need to know they're not going insane, they're experiencing these same things, then that makes me feel like I'm fulfilling my mission. But check out that playlist, Truth Hidden in Plain Sight. I've shared the 2 suns. I recently shared the Airbnb. I also shared my predictions back in 2021, where on what was then Twitter, I've since deleted the Twitter, but before I did, I screenshotted my predictions because I knew things were going to unfold in this way. And one of my predictions was a mass cyber outage. Prepare for a cyber pandemic. I've been saying, if the grid goes down, are you prepared? Do you know how to grow your own food? Do you have can openers? Do you have fresh water? Do you live in a big city? Do you have a plan established of where you're gonna go and who's gonna be on your team? Because especially if you live in a big city, sanitation, toilets and things are going to get disgusting very quickly. And us humans, we've been programmed and conditioned to be civil, to pretend to be civil, but at the end of the day, we're animals. And unfortunately, if this cyber pandemic or the grid goes down and people lose access to groceries and electricity and their phones, you're going to see an entirely different side of human beings. And I want you to be prepared for that spiritually, mentally, and physically. Get ready stay ready so that you don't have to get ready. That's been my motto. Once again, this is not to fearmonger. This is so I'm putting it out there. Take what you will, okay? Let's see. What else can we talk about today? You know what? I actually have something that I wanted to share. Let's see. I also did have a tsunami dream. All of these dreams, these end of the world dreams, were major cataclysmic events. This all started at the beginning of 2022. At that time, we were going into that age of Aquarius, the poles were shifting, and you could just feel everything changing. If you're experiencing this, leave a 333 in the comments. But the tsunami dream, I also had a dream one morning where I woke up yelling out flood. And since then, there have been so many major floods. There's so many major disruptive events happening around the world that I don't even think the news can keep up. But I would like to share with you this tsunami dream. I am a writer to a degree. No, not to a degree. I'm a writer. Stand 10 toes, right? I am a writer, and so when I share my dreams, I share them very like book style. That's probably not the best way to put that, but let's go ahead and type it in so I can read it out to you. And maybe someone else has had a similar dream about the tsunami. So this dream I actually had on the morning of January 7th, 2024. This morning, 1/7/24, I dreamt of a large tsunami wave crashing into a cottage, much like the cottage from my childhood, only with an ocean view instead of a lake. My partner and I stood in front of the large glass patio doors, looking out towards the sea. Almost instantly, we were drawn to a large wave, growing gravely tall in the silvery distance. I casually turned and took a few steps towards the room behind me, as if it would make a difference. The wave came ferociously and quickly, shattering the glass doors and cascading in with rage. My partner hadn't moved from the doors, and inevitably, he was knocked down by the force of the water. Almost just as quickly, he was swept by the tide's voracious pull and pulled out to sea through the hollow rectangles where glass had once stood only seconds prior. The ocean then began to look like the lake I recognized from childhood. I felt as though I could go rescue him. I started toward where I could see him in the water, and that is all I can remember. So, very common themes here of tsunamis, floods, lightning. Weather seems to have a big effect on this. And then, as far as the power outages and the grid going down, that's been something that comes to me in my during my waking hours. I have a list over here, so don't mind me peeking at my iPad just because I want to make sure that I've talked about everything. I also would love to know if you do go into my playlist and you watch these videos, leave a comment. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because no such thing as coincidence that when creators speak about things that can be beneficial to people and can help protect you for the things to come, that those things aren't being suppressed. But if you want to talk about the best way to do your makeup, which, no offense to people who do that, there's absolutely nothing, but when shit hits the fan, makeup is not going to save you. And these videos that really I feel like could make a difference are the ones that just are not being pushed. And it almost creates a little bit more of uneasiness within me, because it's as though AI knows something that we don't. The fact that it's not pushing these predictions and not pushing the fact that Airbnb updated these major disruptive events policy, it's like, why isn't this national news? A lot of people use Airbnb. So I'm going to leave you with a poem, which is also on here on my YouTube channel. I constantly talk about how your words cast spells. That's why they call it spelling. Your tongue is your wand, and you create your reality. So I'm going to leave you with a poem that I've already shared here on my YouTube, and it's only about a minute long. So please stick around. Let me know if you'd like to hear more on some of the breakdowns and etymologies of the English language and some of the words we use every day that are not beneficial to us. A simple example of that being, you wake up and you say good morning because you're mourning the life before you go into this job that's stealing your energy. And you call them weekdays because when you go to work Monday through Friday, you're in a weekdays. And by the time you make it to the weekend, you're in a weekend state. And I want you to begin changing your dialogue. Call them your strong days. Say grand rising. If you've ever wondered why someone says that, you may be like, oh, they're fake woke. Oh, they're a hotep. It's deeper than that. Your words cast spells. You are an electromagnetic being, meaning you get your electricity from the sun, you get your magnetism from the ley lines that run beneath the earth, which is why this prison planet is constantly trying to keep you and suppress your vibration to a lower state. So be mindful of how you yield your tongue, your wand, because it quite literally creates heaven or hell for you and the people around you on earth. I have many, many words that I keep in my notes that are just, we should be mindful of how we use them. If you agreed with this, say words cast spells. That's why they call it spelling. Leave it in the comments, okay? And I'm going to share this poem once I find it. Okay. Here we go. They say words cast spells. That's why they call it spelling. Ask yourself, when you argue with someone, why do you start yelling? You're in the same room, but energetically, you feel miles apart. It's as if your words are landing everywhere, but on your opponent's heart. You see, currently, they can't connect to your currency, maybe because you're feeling lackluster. Or more likely, since you're lacking the lust you once had for her. Hurtful words spilling from your tongue like potent daggers. pulling every trick out of your dunce cap like abracadabra, signing your name in cursive because you don't understand that it means I've cursed. Each letter looping, never breaking a single word. You formulate no new thoughts, only things you've once before heard. Regurgitated talking points, gossip, and following the herd. You want to be more, but you keep chanting, be less. Why you'd call yourself be lack? Well, that's anyone's guess. Question everything as you were born with the gift of critical thinking, because an unawakened mind is a ship destined for sinking. I hope you enjoyed that poem. If you did, it is here on my page in short form, and then there's the long form of it with the words. I have the words going across the screen as I do that poem, because that poem you're able to then see how I'm breaking down the English language. And since we're on the topic and I see a few more people joining in, if you believe that your words cast spells, leave a 333 in the comments. Allow this video to reach more people. It is much bigger than me. This is about elevating the consciousness. This is about preparing people to elevate from this 3D world. And I'm gonna leave you with just a couple words to be mindful of. A few of them that we went over was how Black people refer to themselves as black. However, in history, you used to be more. And it's such a simple switcheroo, okie doke, be mindful. One, white people aren't, this is white, this is white, you know, and this is black. You're not white or black. Call yourself brown or more. Also, when you say be less you, how about be more you? Or instead of be lessings, you can say blissings. You want someone to live in bliss, but not to be less. And you don't want to mourn your life when you wake up, because mourning is something you do at death. You want to have a grand rising, okay? And disease, your health, disease is just simply dis-ease in the body, because stress, low vibrational information and people around you can cause that energy to get stuck and cause physical manifestations of sickness. I am not a medical professional, so please take that with a grain of salt, but I am simply sharing with you my divine downloads. I'm gonna find one other, history, which is one of my favorites, especially if you went to public school. It's a bunch of BS. And history is simply his story. I don't know what happened to hers. But I'm gonna leave you with that. I hope you all enjoyed this live. I hope that those of you who are watching this later, I do encourage you to check out the description. Check out my playlist titled Truth Hidden in Plain Sight. There is a lot of gems I've been sharing there, even just this week, that the algorithm is hiding from you all. Check out my community posts. And if you're interested in a one-on-one virtual yoga session with me, your girl, the Pathless Woods 333, I have a special discount code for you in the description box. Last but not least, if you enjoyed the tarot at the beginning of the reading and that's your cup of tea, I do have a monetized YouTube that I haven't shared here yet, but I'm more than happy to give private readings. So check out the description, email me if you're serious about a reading, and I will get that to you in 72 hours or less. I am sending you, everyone who's tuned into this message, love and light, and may it help to raise your frequency and vibration on your life's journey. Much love. Ase and namaste.